Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. I wanted to talk today about a couple of things. I was listening to Lady C and I just love her. I love how she breaks things down and she gives us insight into the royal family and all the comings and goings and how things work. It's very interesting to hear her speak from that perspective. One of the things that she was talking about was the birth certificate for Archie and the fact that the name had been removed. Meghan says she didn't have her name removed. The royal family is saying, well, we didn't do it. Well, then who did it? You're serious? You're going to have this big question mark out there about why the name was removed? And like, that's a big deal. It doesn't make sense that the royal family would remove Meghan's name off of the birth certificate, and like that's not their name. They may have, entitlement to certain things, with Archie being, the son of the monarchy, but like that was her name that belongs to her and her uniqueness. So if anyone's removing a name, it's going to be her because it's her name. It doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it's not true. And you know what? I don't believe Meghan because of her pattern, her history. The royal family would have no reason to lie about that. So Meghan has done something, and there is a question about Meghan even giving birth to Archie. And the fact that there is this question out there is not good, because that goes to show you that things had happened leading up to the birth of the child that just weren't right. She doesn't want to give birth in the traditional hospital. She doesn't want the doctors from the Queen, the doctors that have given, that have helped all the births. And like the Queen of England is referring to her doctor, like she's the queen of a country, several. And you don't want that doctor. Something's wrong. And she didn't want people prying into her life when it came to the baby. Oh, we just had the baby. Let us have our time. Well, we don't want to come out. And all the people saying, well, let her do her. Let her do her. She just gave birth. She shouldn't have to do that. But this is the thing. They are complicit in her behavior for all the things that she's saying that she don't want to do. See, people, especially the black women that come out here and say, well, let Meghan get out there and let her do things the way she wants to do, or let them shake things up. And you know what I say to that? No. You know why? Because she has married into a monarchy. She has married into an institution that comes with rules and regulations that she fully knew that she was going to have to abide by. She knew this. So you don't have the regular circumstance of marrying into Mr. Jones's family. You're marrying into a family that is overseeing a country, essentially. Many people, commoners, like you are at a different level. So the fact that this woman could come in there and give her demands for what she was going to do around the birth of this child. And then you've got these black women that are going to try to make it sound like she's hear her roar, let her do her. Like they complicit. Because you should not be condoning somebody who is coming into a family and disrespecting their traditions and values. It's not okay. And it's not like it was just one thing. It was a whole bunch of things that she was saying, no, I'm not doing it. What you mean you're not doing it? You see, and now we've got all this conspiracy around, well, did she even give birth to the child? Right? So that shouldn't even be allowed. And like Lady C said, in order for a child to be in the line of succession, to be in a royal family, we gonna sit here and watch that baby come. That we gonna watch. We gonna look like spread them or let's cut it, but we gonna watch it come out. Like that is the level of commitment to observing the birth of the child that has to happen, because you are talking about someone that does not get to where they are unless they are born of certain parents. And the whole mystery around this birth. Now, Mr. Otis is down here scratching at my feet. He probably telling me to calm down. You want me to calm down? Am I getting a little too high-headed? Okay, I'm gonna calm down. Sorry, sorry, Mr. Otis. Okay, so he's just like, okay. I'm just saying, like Lady C was saying, Meghan's preferred choice to do anything should not be allowed. Period. Full stop. So the Queen should be the only person dictating rules and what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. I would have snatched that little girl up by her hair and said, look, girl, you doing what we say. I'm the Queen, and I say you're going to have my doctor. Period. But I think there was a slight there was some intimidation going on by the royal family. Like they had broke all these rules for Meghan. You see? And what did it get them? It got them nowhere. The girl still left. She still did what she wanted to do. And they look like they just been stomped on by some Hollywood girl trying to go, you know, make herself be known to the world. They got used by her, and it looks weak. It doesn't look right. It's not acceptable. And not only that, the people of England have a right to know what is going on. Why is there all this ambiguity around the birth of this child? What happened? And I know the Cambridges, I saw when there was a tweet that said that this child had been born via a surrogate and they took it down. Like, what's up with that? Like, the people have the right to know these things. They pay their taxes for you to have your life and to have the things that you do. There should not be no secrecy around that. And the fact that they have bent and put themselves into little pretzel twists to accommodate her tells me that they were afraid of looking like they were going to be racist for not allowing certain things for Meghan. And what has it gotten them? It has gotten them the more disrespect. So, you know, it's like you have a child that don't want to do what they're supposed to do. You have to put your foot down. You got to show some tough love. Because it's just a precedence for her continuing to do all the things that she's going to do. And it has to be stopped. And the people that are going behind Meghan and you know, trying to pump her up like, girl, dude, show those royals. Show them. Like, you need to be on a smackdown. Because you ain't hurt nobody but the monarchy. Because you're trying to give preference to her womanhood and her little bit of color in her. You're trying to say because she ethnic, you know, they gotta, you know, let her do all these different things. And I say no. I say no. And like Lady C was saying, you know, the palace has been around since 1688. They got traditions. They got their way of doing things. And I don't care who you are, you come in and you follow the rules. And this brings me to the story that I wanted to talk about with Harry. Queen's decision to give Harry an ultimatum over military titles leaves Duke miserable. And you know what I say? Harry, be in your misery as you should be. Because your misery is coming from lack of a backbone to tell your wife, no, we're not going to California. You're going to stay your butt over here in the UK. And I'm going to run my charities. I'm going to have my military titles. I'm going to be by the Queen. I'm going to do all of this. And that's just what it's going to be. But because Harry didn't have a backbone, he needed to take his butt, keep it over in California without his titles, and just go cry yourself a river, because ain't nobody listening. Ain't nobody listening to you. And the Queen, when it come time for this reevaluation, better put her foot down and show that Mr. Harry Windsor and Meghan Markle who the boss is. Show them who's boss. Because you start giving them a leg up, they're going to take another leg. And they're going to start taking everybody's leg. Whatever. They're just going to start doing what they want to do. And before you know it, you don't have a monarchy anymore. Which I think is probably going to happen because of Charles. I just don't think Charles needs to be going on to be the king, and y'all all know my feelings about that. So it is what it is as far as I'm concerned. But Harry seems to be upset because he might lose some of his royal military titles. He wants to keep hold of them, but the Megxit transition period is coming to an end. Harry is coming over here, and the Queen wants to inform him that his honorary military titles will be rescinded now that he is effectively AWOL in California. Yeah. And apparently he's miserable behind it. Well, you be miserable and look at your wife and think she's the reason why you're miserable. Every day you look at your wife in the eye, you talk to her, whatever. She's the reason why you're miserable. Nothing the Queen has done. Because you need to be over in the country where your duty is. Your duty is not in California, hobnobbing around on television shows, perpetrating like you a celebrity with some talent, because you ain't got no talent. What talent you got? Harry ain't got no talent. He gonna try to get on the shows and try to show that he's about something. He ain't about nothing but doing what he was doing over in the UK where he was relevant. He ain't relevant in California. People looking at him like, who? Who that? You know, and then they're looking like, oh, okay, well, they'll see Harry doing things as an American, but then people gonna be confused because they'll be like, wait a minute, ain't that Princess Diana's son, that redheaded kid? What he doing over in America? Like, why he here? Like, every day that you show up on TV in America, it's gonna be a big question mark over your head. Like, why are you here? Like, you don't even make sense in America. Like, you not get back in your habitat, Harry. You a fish out of water. And it's your wife's fault that you are miserable. Let's keep it real. And the Queen better stand into her authority and make it known, I'm the Queen. You do what I say. Now, she may have thought she couldn't have reined in that Meghan girl, but Harry is of the Queen's blood, doing what the Queen says. Richard Fitzwilliams claimed that without the army, Harry would have a hole in his life, adding the Duke feels extremely strongly about the military. So, like, if you felt that way, if he felt that way, why didn't he stay? So does that mean Harry is a hostage? Is he a hostage in California right now? Like, I want to know. Because if you were that strongly connected to your military, you should have never left the UK. That's where you should have stayed. See, there are consequences, and he's paying the price. These are the consequences. Mr. O'Sullivan responded, he has clung on to these titles for the past year during the transition period, but the Queen wants to take these titles off him. We are told that Her Majesty is determined that he cannot retain these military roles while he is 5,000 miles away over in California. Harry also agreed to step down from his military roles. However, officials involved in the talk said that the Queen agreed to keep the positions open during the review period so that he could return if it was deemed appropriate. Right. So let me break it down for you how it's appropriate. This is how it's appropriate. You pack your bags and you move your butt back over to the UK. Now you can have your titles back. But while you were over in La La Land, 5,000 miles away, just lollygagging around, not knowing she kept the door open, right? But the transition period is over. So you're going to have to make a decision because that door is getting ready to close. Either you bring your butt back to the UK and you can have your titles, or you stay over in California and you don't get your titles. End of story. Okay, case closed. That's just how it's going to be. See, this is how, you know, some people just need to learn the hard way. You can't have everything that you want. And that's life. That's how life is. But see, when you're in a position of power, sometimes you always have a bunch of people around you like, yes, people. Yes, yes, yes. You know, I want this. Well, I want something to eat right now. I want filet mignon. Like, he could literally say when he was in the UK or with his people, his chefs in the kitchens, 24 hours a day, I want a filet mignon. It's 3 in the morning. Go get it. And somebody would do it. Like when you have that kind of authority, when you can just command things and you are given it, you are not learning some very important life skills. You are not learning that, I make choices. And if I make choices that are going to have consequences, maybe I shouldn't make that choice. And this is something he hasn't learned. Because if he's going to be talking about being miserable and having a hole in his life without his military, then, yeah, something drastic is going on with Harry right now, because this is like a news item. And I don't think Harry would have put this in the news unless he wanted the Queen to know. I'm not happy, my Queen. I'm not happy. I'm miserable. I want my titles back. And then maybe she'd see how miserable he was and say, okay, Harry, you can have the titles back. Maybe that's him throwing a tantrum and trying to see if he can get back what he wants because he's feeling so miserable. I don't know. But it just seems like this is turning out to be a big deal. Okay? You're not going to wind your way back into this because you have made a decision. You a grown man, well into your 30s. By now, you should know better. Period. He has the title of Captain General of the Royal Marines, Honorary Air Commandant of RAF Huntington and Bury St. Edmunds, and Commodore in Chief Small Ships and Driving Royal Naval Command. That's a long title. Yeah, I can see why you want your title back, because you got a lot of titles behind your name. And excuse my pronunciation. I guess in my last video, I didn't say the word Chestershire or whatever it was that I was saying. I don't remember. Look, okay. I do my best. I'm trying to pronounce the words that I don't see every day or use every day. And if I pronounce it wrong, forgive me. Okay? I'm doing my best. I don't do it on purpose. That's just how it comes out with my American twang. Okay? Sometimes I got a little country in here. Sometimes I'm a little, I can get a little ghetto-fied. I try to keep that suppressed. But sometimes there's different ways of speaking comes out depending on my emotion. This is how you're going to learn a lot about a black woman, right? Like, this is not trying to be like extreme, but there are certain women, and mostly particular to black women, depending on their emotions and how they feel, interprets how they speak and how it comes out. And it comes out a certain kind of way depending on my emotion. And it's a funny story, you guys. So I have a sister, and my sister, she got some anger issues, and she had a therapist who just couldn't handle her issues, because my sister, she come out all, hyper and mad and telling her stuff, and the therapist, but she turned red and she get all nervous and stutter and not how to handle my sister. And my sister is like, hey, calm down, lady. It's okay. I'm just talking. I sound aggressive, but I'm just telling you how I'm feeling and what happened. I'm not going to go off on you. I'm just conveying what happened. So, validation for you. I just talked to my sister. That's what she told me. I thought that was funny, because you kind of need to know these things. And sometimes people say, well, why you guys so loud? And, I don't know. But that's just some black women in America. That's just how it is. I don't know why it is the way it is like that, but it just is. And consider yourself informed, because now you know a little bit behind why that is. It's just how it is. In the wake of the Queen's decision, so getting back to our story, pardon me. The Telegraph reported that Harry is determined. He is determined, y'all, to keep his honorary military titles and wants to spend more time in the UK. Okay, so now, Harry, you think you're going to just spend some more time in the UK? That's just what you're going to do to solve the problem? You ain't solving no problem by spending more time in the UK, because I can assure you, once Harry gets his titles back and says, oh, I'll be back in the UK every month or whatever, every so many hours out of the year, he gonna renege, because he won't be able to do it. First of all, he's gonna have his wife telling him he ain't going. Second of all, he is going to say, well, I got what I want. I don't care. Like, he gonna renege on that, because he don't have the commitment of duty that he needs to have while he's in the presence of a woman who's controlling him. He won't be able to do it. So let's just get that straight. That's not going to happen. His military work is one of the most important things to him. And of course he wants to keep them. Yeah, you know, I would love $1 million. I would love to get it. But hey, what? It is what it is. So Harry, this is one of those moments in your life where you're just going to go, okay, well, it is what it is. I left and the Queen said no. And the answer is no. And I'm just going to go live in my happy go merry life in California. And I'm not going to get a news story out talking about how miserable I am. Like, what's that? Like this shouldn't even be making the news. If I was the Queen, I'd be upset that it was in the news. Like what? You throwing a temper tantrum now? Like you're going to go out and start talking about how miserable you are? Showing yourself ugly. Like, don't nobody want to see that. Go be in your misery, you spoiled child. You done got everything you want your whole life. And now because you're miserable, we're supposed to pay attention and give Harry what he wants? No. This is where the most learning is going to come for Harry. This is where the most discipline of his new life is going to come when the Queen says no. Because it's at this point right now is the most crucial for Harry. Because now he can start to live into his commoner life. Now he can start to see he's not that prince anymore. He's not that guy attached to his kingdom, his monarch. No, he is now living as a mortal man with no powers from the UK. So go live in the UK, being the average Joe Schmo, Mr. Jones, living in California on the beach in a ponytail. That's what it's going to be for you. So your attachment to anything in the UK is gone. Y'all know my analogy with Superman. This is where it's happening right now for Harry. So in order for him to really learn and get the most out of what has been happening to him because of his life now in the UK, in California, because of the woman he chose to marry, this is how it's going to be. And he can do himself a big favor by acknowledging and feeling the pain of the suffrage of not having those military titles. Because this is the pain that is going to make him be more respected in a sense. Because now we can see that he is accepting the fact that he is no longer able to keep his military titles. And he is accepting that like a man. He is being a man. And he is going to be in his suffrage. He is going to suffer the loss of something very dear to him because he has the woman of his dreams. That's the price you pay. So grow in your growth of coming into adulthood as a real nobody in California. Because this is what it feels like. This is just what it is. I love how they say the Queen is opposed to allowing the Sussexes to remain aspects of their royal lives while in the U.S. That's right. The Queen is like, look, I'm a UK British woman. My duty is to my country and my Commonwealth. If my grandson wants to frolic in the US of A, where I have no power, then he on his own. He is on his own. Be on your own. But you're not stepping into my monarchy, my royalty, and going to cohort with me as the Queen while living in a foreign country that I have no power over. It just ain't going to happen. And the Queen needs to put her foot down. And I'm almost certain she's going to do it. Go ahead, Queen. Put your foot down and make Harry learn what he needs to learn to be a man.